Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم وافتح علينا بمعرفة العلم وسهل أخلاقنا بالحلم وجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه اللهم اجعل أعمالنا خالصة لوجهك ولا تجعل فيها حظا لغيرك وصل اللهم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everyone today? Alhamdulillah. We continue with Sarf again after a week's break. I hope nobody forgot the Sarf. But either way, we'll start off with a quick recap of what we've done thus far. We've learned two main scales, the past tense scale, the present tense scale. We're going to move on to something new today. But before we get there, just a bit of a recap. So we're going to start off, as we always do, saying our scales, just getting some practice. So the first thing we spoke about was Sarf is about how verbs change. We dealt with past tense verbs, then with present tense verbs. So everybody say for me the past tense verb of our standard template verb, fa'ala. Go for it. Fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alat, fa'alna, fa'alta, fa'altum, fa'alti, fa'altunna, fa'altu, fa'alna. Again, everybody. And then the present tense? Okay, one more time. يفعل يفعلون تفعل يفعلن تفعل تفعلون تفعلين تفعلن أفعل نفعل. Let's take just one verb for today. خلق. How is that going to sound? Past tense. Say it for me. خلق. خلق means what? To create. So خلقنا will mean what? We created. خلقت. خلقت. خلق. He created. Okay, everybody, let's just say that scale one more time. خلق. خلق. خلقت. خلقنا. خلقت. خلقتم. خلقتي. خلقتن. خلقت. خلقنا. And the present tense? That was one of the verbs we looked up in our homework. So what is it? خلق يخلق. Well, there's a whole array of other ways of saying it as well, but we're focusing on خلق يخلق. So say that scale for me. يخلق. يخلق. تخلق. يخلقن. تخلق. تخلقون. تخلقين. تخلقن. أخلق. نخلق. Again. يخلق. يخلقون. تخلق. يخلقن. تخلق. تخلقون. تخلقين. تخلقن. أخلق. نخلق. Okay. So we had some homework. The homework was, well, simply translating some verbs. But that required some work from your side in that I didn't give you the translations of those verbs. Right? Can I just see somebody's homework sheets, please? Even if it's blank, I just want to see the questions. I just want to see the questions. And then I really get a half blank one. Okay, I was just joking. Right. So there were a number of different root letters over here, right? So this homework required you to do two things, or it required two things of you. Firstly, to know whatever we learnt about our Sarf scales, right? So that you could translate the tense and who is doing the action. so that you could translate all of those things. Secondly, it required from you the ability to use your dictionary so that you could see the initial word form and the meaning of the word, right? And so this simple worksheet actually comprised of all of the skills that we learned in Sarf for the year, right? I just want to go through them to see that you know the meanings of the words, or that if you are having any problems or anything like that. So the first word we had there was يَبْعَثُونَ, right? On this worksheet over here, Sarf exercise 6. The first one was يَبْعَثُونَ. Okay, but I filled in the harakat on that one for you. But what did it mean? بَعَثَ يَبْعَثُ. It means to send. Anybody had anything else over there? There's another common meaning for ba'atha. It means to raise as well. But either way, if you came to one of those meanings, that tells me, alhamdulillah, you know how to use a dictionary. The next one we had there was ترفعاني. رفع يرفع means to do what? To raise something as well. Rafa'a means to raise. So what does... Oh, sorry, that's a mistake on my side. Oh no, oh my God. You see, this is a worksheet that I had from before and I forgot to take out all the dual verbs. I'm sorry about that. Okay, anyways. La'ana. What did la'ana mean? Okay, can I first just go through this thing and scratch some out that I was supposed to have taken out myself? Number 2 here, tarfa'ani. If we're starting on the right hand side of the page, now it's going to be on my left hand side. Number 2 over there, scratch that one out. And then if you go down, you have la'ana, naj'alu, aftahu, tanfa'ina, yadhhabani. Scratch that one out as well. And then you have taj'alu, yajma'na, yanfa'una, tasluhu, yasharani. Scratch that one out as well. Then you have تذهبون نجعل بعثت تفتحين تصلحن يجعلون نذهب تنفع. That's all fine. On the next column, ينصرون نترك يحكم يخلدون تسجد يذكرون رزقنا تدخلين يخرجون يحشران. Scratch that one out. أبلغ ننصر تخلقون ترزق أو ترزقنا يحكمون تركت يحشر تذكر يتركون خرجنا. So it's just those. You must have 1, 2. Is it 4? Yes, you must have 4 words scratched up, right? Okay, but the rest you should all be able to know how to interact with. So we had the la'ana. What did la'ana mean? To curse, right? La'ana, and the present tense should be yal'anu. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I just want to go through some. If you could do those, then you should be able to do the rest. Let's take the next one. Naj'alu. Naj'alu means to? Okay, firstly, if you want to translate it fully, it means we are doing what? Making or creating as well. You can also have placing something, putting something in a place. Aftahu. Okay, I'm not going to focus on that one because we learned that in class already. Tanfa'ina. What does tanfa'ina mean? The full meaning. What's it? You. Tanfa'ina. Ina. You one. Female. Or. Nafa'a yanfa'u means to benefit. You one female are benefiting. Okay, then the next one we have scratched out. تجعل, we already did جعل يجعل. The next one we have the يجمعنا. What does that mean? يجمعنا. يجمعنا. If I tell you the verb is جمع يجمع, جمع يجمع, then if you know that, you should be able to follow on from the scale there. يجمع يجمعون. تجمع يجمعنا. So that's the one that we have over here, isn't it? Right. So it means they, many females, are doing what? Jama'a, together. They, many females, are gathering. Okay, I think that's enough for now. If you haven't completed that homework, I know it's a bit tedious. I know it's a bit tedious because it requires that you apply your mind to all of those verbs, firstly to see who's doing it, when it's done, and then to still go use your dictionary to find out how do I say the past tense, how do I say the present tense, and then put it all together. But really, in doing that repetitive and tedious work, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, it will, number one, build up your vocabulary and increase your ability in how to use the dictionary, getting used to the imagery of words, and it will just solidify your interaction with these scales that we are learning here. Right. So just before we move on to our next scale, I want to take some time and just conceptually look at the differences between the two scales that we've already learned. Right. So firstly, we did al-fi'l al-madi, the past tense verb, and al-fi'l al-mudari. Mudari means the present tense verb or the incomplete verb, right? So we have fa'ala being our model of the, or template of the past, and yaf'alu being our model of the present tense verb. The first thing you must be able to do in relation to these verbs is identify them as verbs. Right? You will not know how to interact with them, or how to treat them, how to understand them as words if you can't identify them. So, how do we do that? Or how do we identify the difference between a past tense verb and a present tense verb? Firstly, the present tense verb or the past tense verb, how does it start? Just think of your template in your mind. Your template is fa'ala. You saw that even in Sarf, right? You were busy with root letters this morning. And we saw we even named the letters, the fa letter, the ayn letter, and the lam letter. Those are our template letters in Arabic. So what's our template verb here? Past tense. Fa'ala. Right. What's at the beginning of fa'ala? Nothing. And at the beginning of the present tense? And on all the present tense verbs that you would cross in here, there would either have been a ya, or ta, or hamza, or a noon. Ya, ta, hamza, or noon. That's the order that we find them in terms of our order of learning the verbs, right? Either it's yaf'alu, or it's taf'alu, or it's af'alu, or it's naf'alu. And then there may be those that start with a ta or a ya that have something attached to the end as well. But I'm not focusing at the end. So to identify whether it's a past tense or present tense, all that I need to do is look at the beginning. If there's no one of these letters at the beginning, then I say present tense verb. It must be a past tense verb. Okay. If you want to have that abbreviation in your mind, tiny. Right. The thing you must do is you must know the form. One thing is to know that it starts, how it starts, but you must know the complete form of that verb as well. Why? You'll see now, when we do our next scale, that the only way to tell the difference between this past tense scale and that past tense scale is going to be that you know the form. The form is what? Fa, the second root letter with some haraka on it, fa, a, I, u, la. So fa'ala, fa'ula, or fa'ila. And the present tense will always sound yaf'alu, or either yaf'ulu or yaf'ilu. You must know how to identify the doer. Where do I look to identify the doer? Who's doing the action? On the verb. How do I do that? Everybody's telling me on the verb. Did you guys learn about how to identify the doer of a verb yet? In Nahu. Okay. First place to look is on the verb, yes, but where on the verb? At the end. To find out whether it was past or present, we looked at the beginning. To find out who's doing the action, I look at the end. At the end. A past tense verb will either have a waw, like fa'alu, or it will have a short noon, like fa'alna, or it will have a ta at the end, like fa'alta, fa'alti, fa'altu. Even fa'altum, it's still the ta that's over there. And fa'altunna, it's still the ta that's over there. Or it will be a na, fa'al, na. So we look for something at the end. Either it's a waw, that's going to tell me many males, or it's a short noon, that's going to tell me many females, or it's going to be a ta, that's indicate to me femininity, or that is second person, or it's going to be a na. This is conceptual. If you know your scales, you don't even have to bother about this. But I just know that some people, they learn more, they learn better conceptually, others learn better from experience. So for that reason, I'm going through it in this fashion as well. I'm going to test you. If you can see one of our verbs that we've learned on one of the scales that we've learned, and you can tell me who did the action, when the action was done, what action it is that's being done, or that was done, then you are for away in Sarf. In the terms of the present tense, our verbs are either going to end with una, either going to have nothing, like yaf'alu, or that's going to have una at the end, yaf'aluna and taf'aluna, or it's going to have a short noon, like yaf'alna and taf'alna, or it's going to have a ina. The only example of that is the singular feminine, taf'alina. Right. Then we need to know how to change the action of these verbs. How do we change the action? Change the root letters. And just as a last note, you must know that the vowel on the second root letter, on the ayn kalima, it can change. For example, we can have sami'a instead of fa'ala, we can have karuma instead of fa'ala, and same for the present tense, yadribu and yansuru. All of these things we've learnt already. We learnt these things over the previous 8 weeks of our this is just the culmination of all of that put onto one slide. If you want to use it for revision at another time, you can do so. But if you could do the work that we had for homework before, then alhamdulillah, you already understand this in practice. Right. Are there any questions before we move on? Anybody having any problems? A question? Okay. There is a possibility that the present tense verb or the past tense verb actually has as a root letter a ya or a waw. Or it won't be a alif, or maybe a hamza. That we deal with in a second category of, or a separate category of verb called weak letter verbs in Sarf. Number one. Number two, the other way of identifying that that's actually a root letter is, and it's not like the tiny at the beginning, is that you'll see that there's only two other letters. But we know a verb must have how many letters? How many root letters? 3. Or more. But there must at least be 3. So if I only see 2 other letters, then I know, okay, something's happening over here. That other one that I'm thinking is the extra letter must be actually one of the root letters. But that's for another time. Don't worry about that. That we deal with in a separate category of verbs, right? For now, I must be able to tell the difference between a past tense verb and a present tense verb. I must be able to tell when a different action is being done. And I must know how to find out what action that is. Then I must also be able to find out who is doing the action. Right. Last week we went how to use the dictionary. I'm not going to go through all of those slides again. You just tell me quickly. First thing I need to identify to find a verb in the dictionary is what? I need to identify the root letters. The same thing you were doing this morning in Nahu, you must do that for Sarf. But in Sarf, it's actually easier to identify the root letters. Why? Because words fit on templates. I know any verb that I come across on the first form that we're busy dealing with here, it's going to look like yaf'alu or fa'ala. So I know whatever took the place of that fa, that's my first root letter. Whatever took the place of that ayn is my second root letter. Whatever took the place of the lam is my third root letter. As simple as that. I don't still have to worry about looking for extra letters in between and all of those things. If you know your scale, you'll very easily be able to pick out those root letters for now. Second thing I need to do is what? Find those root letters in the dictionary. In what order? In alphabetical order. Alphabetical order of what? Of the root letters. Then what next? Where do I find the verb? The first word with that set of root letters is going to be my verb. Right. What information am I going to find there? Firstly, I'm going to have the letters, just the letters written out. Then I'm going to have the past tense spelled out for me. And then I'm going to have the present tense indicated to by a letter. That letter tells me what? The vowel on the middle root letter, or the ayn kalima. I'm not going to call it the middle root letter anymore. I'm going to call it the ayn kalima, because you know now that the ayn kalima is my second root letter. Second root letter. So it tells me the haraka on my ayn kalima. Everybody with me there? The haraka on my ayn kalima. Because that's the only thing that can actually change. All of the other harakats stay exactly the same. And if I already know that I'm replacing the fa, ayn and lam with these root letters, then what else can change? Only the haraka on the ayn kalima. So I have it spelled out. I have the present tense kind of spelled out just by telling me the haraka on the ayn kalima. I then have the noun from which the verb is derived, but not too much focus on that. And then I have a variety of meanings for this verb. If you can deal with that much, alhamdulillah, you practically know how to use the dictionary to find verbs for now. Right. Any questions on the dictionary stuff before we go on? Question? Yes. The verb that it starts with, that it gets spelled out, is always going to be the past tense. Right? It will be the past tense, and the present tense will be indicated to just by that letter over there. There are some rare instances where a verb doesn't get used in its normal form, but we'll deal with that at another time, inshallah. Right? But for the most part, it's going to work exactly like this. Okay? Any more questions on dictionary work? If you have no questions on it, that means you must just do the work. Right? That part I can't do for you. Right. Okay. If there's no questions there, then I want to move on. We're going to start with our new scale for today, inshallah. Oh, that scale is just like changing harakat actually. That's not learning much. That's why I told you before, if you know your first scale, your fa'ala scale, and you know your yaf'alu scale, the rest of sarf is easy peasy. Really it is. You'll see in a moment. What scale do we want to learn? It's called the majhul scale. Everybody say that for me? Again? Majhul. What are the root letters of that word majhul? Just think about what you did this morning. I heard it already. What's your extra letter here? The mim at the beginning. And the waw in the middle, right? So what are we left with? Jim, ha, lam. Jahl. You know anything from that word? You might have heard the name Abu Jahl. You might have heard somebody calling somebody a Jahil. You might have heard of the time called Jahiliyyah. So what does all of that stuff mean? Ignorance. To not know. It's the opposite of majhul, is the opposite of ma'loom. What's the root letter of ma'loom? Ayn, lam, mim. Ilm. What's ilm? Knowledge. Right. So something that is ma'loom is something that is known. Something that is majhul is something that is not unknown. It's something that's not known. What's it referring to here? In terms of sarf, specific to our meaning here, when I speak about the majhul scale, I mean a verb form in which the doer is not known. The doer is unknown. Just think about this for a moment. All of the previous verbs we did, we always knew who was doing the action, isn't it so? Whether I told you yaf'alu, you knew who it was, or I told you yaf'aluna, or I told you fa'alu, or I told you fa'alat, or I told you fa'alna, you always could tell me who was doing the action. Now we're going to learn a verb form when I don't know who's doing the action. For example, what if I want to say, instead of saying, the child was helped, instead of saying, he helped the child. I know that the child was helped, but I don't know who did the action. How do I say in Arabic, the child was helped? Just listen to that sentence. The child was helped. Who did the helping? From that sentence, you can't tell me, isn't it so? We don't know. So, the doer here is majhul, unknown. Right, so let's see what the concept is. Al-fi'lul majhul. Majhul, that's the scale we're learning. Look how I translated it here. The passive verb. The passive verb. Sometimes giving it this more technical translation actually distances it from your understanding a bit more. Simply what you need to know is a fi'l majhul is a verb in which I do not know who did the action. A more technical for it would be the passive verb. Like in English, if I say, he did the action. The other way of saying, or the passive voice of saying that would be, the action was done. But in English, I can still say, by him. And then still know who it is. In Arabic, we don't generally have that concept. If you want to say who's doing the action, you'll use the active form, the ma'loom form. Right. Okay. I'm going to put a sentence on the board. Take a moment and try and tell me what that sentence is saying. How do you find the doer of a verb? First you look on the verb. If you don't find it there, did you do this in Nahu? Ali? I'm seeing nods. Is it that those people did it elsewhere? Huh? Okay, that's sufficient for now. I just look at the sentence and try and translate it for me. Nasara al-mudarrisu at-tilmidha. If you want to read it nicely, nasara al-mudarrisu at-tilmidha. Everybody read it for me. Say the sentence for me. Again, nasara al-mudarrisu at-tilmidha. Again, everybody. Nasara al-mudarrisu at-tilmidha. There's a mistake there. It's supposed to be mudarrisu. Okay. What does it say? What does it mean? What does nasara mean? To help. Who's doing the act of helping here? The teacher. Everybody agree? How do you know? Because of the u. You learned that in Sarf, right? You learned that in Sarf. In Nahu. You learned that in Nahu. Right. Because that doesn't have to do exactly with how the verb changes. That has to do with how other words interact with the verb. That's why you learned that in Nahu. So, you could tell me that this means what? Nasara al-mudarrisu. The teacher helped. Who did the teacher help? The student. How do I know? Because it has a fatha. It's in halatun nasb. The mudarrisu in halatul raf. Okay. What about this sentence over here? You told me that means the teacher helped. What about this sentence over here? Okay, firstly, I can see there that the doer is the teacher. I can see there that the done upon is the student. Right? The subject of the verb is the teacher. The object of the verb is the student. Right. What about this sentence? nasarat tilmidha. I left out the doer now. I'm not saying it's the mudarris. What does that mean? I'm hearing two different things. I heard this, brothers, from your side, I only heard the student was helped. What does nasara mean? Nasara, if I look at it on its own, means he helped. Isn't it? Fa'ala, he did. Nasara, he helped. He helped. Right. So the only time I don't put that he there is when there's the other word in raf. When the other word isn't there in raf, then I put the he back there. Just listen to that again. Yes. Yes, that it does. The question was, firstly, I took the he away out of the first sentence. You can see there's no he there. Instead, I replaced the he with the teacher, because the teacher was in a raf in the sentence. Right? It also shows me that the teacher is masculine, because I use the masculine verb, nasara. Right? Secondly, in this verb, because the word in a raf, I put the he back. What is the sentence translate as now? He helped the student. See, the student is still the one who the action is done to. It's still in nasb. So what does that show us? Despite the fact that I left the actual person who did the helping out, I can still say who the doer is in the sentence. I can still say it's he. In terms of Arabic understanding, the doer is still known. It's he. He, used in a context, must refer to someone. I can't just start, I come to the class and I tell you, he helped the student. The first thing that you're going to think about is, who's he? I can't just start off like that. I'll only have a dhamir being used when that dhamir can, it refers to somebody that was previously mentioned. I only use a pronoun when it refers to somebody that was previously mentioned or spoken about. The point that I'm making is, even though I left the doer out of the sentence, because of the type of verb that I'm using, I still know who did the action. I still know who did the action. How do I say the student was helped? If I say the student was helped, there's no doer mentioned there at all, isn't it? Neither he nor a specific person. That is there I have to use the majhul verb. How does the majhul verb look? It comes on the form I will have to say it like this. Nusira at-tilmidhu. Nusira at-tilmidhu. What does nusira at-tilmidhu mean? The student was helped. How do you know that? Because I told you. Right? Nusirat tilmidhu means the student was helped. What changed? Firstly, in terms of the verb, the a changed to u'i'a. Nasara changed to nusira. What else changed? What else changed? The at-tilmidha changed to at-tilmidhu. Okay, I don't want to focus too much on that now. What we want to focus on is the form of the verb. So firstly, you can see here, this form of the verb here we call the majhul form of the verb. This form of the verb we call the opposite of majhul. There I have it on the board, ma'loom form of the verb. Don't worry about those technical terms so much now. A verb where the doer is known is al-fi'alul ma'loom. Verb where the doer is not known is al-fi'alul majhul. Those are headings, titles. Time's up. Okay. It's not good to know that if you know the concept, but it's also good to know. For now, our time is actually up. For now, you've already recognized how or what the change is between the majhul form of the verb and the ma'loom form of the verb. The only thing that changes is the harakat. Fa'ala changes to I'm going to skip through this. We can look at it next week, inshallah. Fa'ala changes to fu'ila. So fa'alu will change to fu'ilu. And your scales is going to become fu'ila, fu'ilu, fu'ilat, fu'ilna, fu'ilta, fu'iltum, fu'ilti, fu'iltunna, fu'iltu, fu'ilna. The only thing that changes is what? My harakat. Right, our time is actually up now. So what I want you to do for homework is, I've given you a homework sheet in which you can scale for me. If you firstly write out that scale, it's called Sarf scale 3 or something like that. The second thing that I want you to do is, there's a worksheet where you translate the Arabic column into English and the English column into Arabic. Now we haven't gone through the translations in class. Where do you find that translation? On the actual printout of the slide over here. Right, so get some practice in it. We'll go through the concept a bit more next week, inshallah. We're in there for now. وجزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.